All right, what's up, everyone? It's Jeremy here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. We are live. Dog Behavior Q&A, episode 158. And today, we're going to talk about reliability. I'm going to talk about, in regards to commands, what we would have to, what obstacles we have to face in order to get reliability out of our dogs. That is the topic today. Sorry for being my internet decided to go out as I was going live, so I reset. But those of you who have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. I'm going to talk about the topic first, and then I'm going to get to your questions. You guys got to check this out. Okay, so I've been using this, Pets, peanut butter, CB dog treats. Check this out, guys. This is a real deal. It's a company based out of Atlanta. It is really good. My dogs love it. All right, check it out if you get a chance. Okay, so let's talk about the topic. The topic is reliable commands, and what I mean by that is, getting your dog to listen to you 90 in just the 90% range. 90% of the time, he decides to listen to you, or she decides to listen to you before, or as opposed to listening to themselves. It can be something as simple as coming when called, but on a deeper level, the post I made today was about dealing with dogs' refusal at their highest level of refusal. So if you have a dog who is a very stubborn dog, any area where the dog is or should be be able to listen, be able to be okay with what you want them to do. For example, bathing, nail trimming, grooming overall, swimming, weird phobias like going up the stairs, going down the stairs. Okay, so how do you get that dog to take your word for it? Basically, you got to have a dog that says, all right, when he says, she says, we're doing this, like there's no turning back. And what you have to have, I mean, it's obviously a really good mindset for your dog to obtain from you. Especially again, if those challenges aren't anyway going to hurt them, but it could actually benefit them, then you will look for areas. You want to look for those challenges and work through those challenges. That also will help with dogs who are reactive, aggressive, and overall just straight up buttholes. If you can, I had a dog who was scared of a plastic bag, for example. I get dogs all the time who are scared of vacuums, and I'll tell you what, the that I work with obviously are on the high end of aggression reactivity. But most of those dogs also have those weird phobias as well. I don't want paws touched. I don't like to be bathed. I don't like to swim. I don't like to my ears touched. I don't like. So they're not really exclusive. There's things that are tied. So I tell people those are your opportunities to get. Those are the opportunities to develop the necessary dog with your dog. Work that dog through work that dog through the nail trimming or the or being in a pool, or being in water, or the vacuum. Work your dog through those things, and especially if you have who is reactive and aggressive. If you do, then the aggression and reactivity will get better. So look for challenges when you are training your when you are working with your dog. If in fact those challenges aren't something that are necessarily going to cause harm to the dog, then by all means you sort of owe it to them to work through it. If your dog afraid of the stairs, put a leash on the dog and get the dog okay with the stairs. Your dog's afraid to jump in the car. Um, those things are you should work through, which you're able to work through, and that's going to create again a better, um, even a it's going to create a trusting relationship between you and. So when we talk about reliability, when we talk about, I I really mean that if you want your dog to come, when you tell them to come, you have to be more than them in getting them to come. That's the the most raw way, without any tools, without any special strategy. Does your dog believe you when you tell them something, or do they say, not consistent, so don't have to listen. I'm gonna continue to sniff. I'm gonna continue to chase the squirrels. Get the dog to think about you more often. Get the dog to take you in consideration. Have a dog who becomes more reliable, who thinks about you more, who engages you more. Um, respect is the number one thing when it comes to raising a dog. Respect has to come before friendship, and needs have to come before wants. To be within the needs can give, then you can give want. You can't prioritize wants, and that's what people do. People prioritize a dog's wants before their needs, or totally neglect their needs. That's when bad behavior starts to come out to come out. All right. So let's get to some questions. Okay. Please explain the difference between a dog halter, head halter, and a gentle leader, and if one of those or Allen collar is best for a dog that pulls on want. Also, so sizing / fitting any for all of these. Thank you. Well, there's not much difference between a head halter and a leader. Just the point of I would say the point of is different. The gentle leader is going to come like more so on the side here, and kind of make the dog do this, and then the head halter is going to some come from down here, and it's kind of going to go like the dog said do this. So just kind of different points of contact. Um, I'm not an expert on those tools. I don't really use them. So I would say for pulling, the prong collar is the best, because I think it teaches the best. I think it is the shortcut to not using a prong collar, using a collar at all, to not using a leash at all. And so that should be the overall goal anyway. And so I think the prong collar is the best tool to teach the how to heel off leash, how to behave in, and again, most importantly, how to behave off leash. So that's that. Thank you for your question. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. Kylie says, "You think the best way to introduce dogs? One of our dogs is the best at initial meeting dogs, but ends up warming up and generally fine. Would you prefer initial meeting to go smoother?" Yeah, I prefer the initial meeting to be under your control. If the dog is going to control mode sometime, then it means you need more control in those moments. You are in control, not the dog. So initially, what I do if I have a dog who has problems initially is I will get the dog to respond to me without question, without hesitancy, right away. Initially, when you're talking about initially, and so that shows the dog that needs to be controlled, that you have control over the dog, and you can have control over the other dog as well. So it's kind of a two-win. Does that make sense? I can explain more if you want. All right. Jeremy, I have a million questions. All right, ask them all. Feel free. Was pointed in your direction for my dog reactive 10-year-old female rotted, increasingly more reactive at dogs passing by. Starting lunging at window, will look at me. Hair is still up, huff, whining after laying down and moved from the Beto area. How can you de-escalate? I would say if you can get the dog to lay down and remove them from the area and go lay down somewhere, then naturally the dog will de-escalate. But it's all about getting the dog to listen to you on some level, and that's start. You're not going to. It's not going to totally go away in one session, so to speak. But if you can get that dog go lay down on his bed, and the rest will take care of itself. Just give it enough time. I think leashes make things, yeah, for the most part. I think leashes do make things more tense. Excuse me. You drop the leash. You could drop the keep walking. That may help. Unless your dog's going to get aggressive. That may help. Our new 4-month male Rottweiler mix has his third visit to the vet. He was so scared he peed everywhere, and they said they could barely finish the vaccinations. He was starting to get, and we have been over puppy land sharking for months. He backs away from some people, but mostly warms up quickly. I've never had a skittish, timid dog. It's new territory. I'm working from home, so fortunately, he's with me around the clock, but has been meeting friends and family. Oh boy. Ooh, he's 4 months and already doing that. Where did you get this from? Here's another question. Did you get to meet the parents of the dog? This dog could genetically be a nervous man. You don't want that. That dog's only gonna get bigger, and you're gonna need some training. Either you're gonna need some training, or you're gonna have to return the dog to the breed. That would be my suggestion. Then walk to me. Come here, buddy. You have to say good night. Hmm? Hi.
Hi.
You're gonna answer some questions for them.
Hi.
Say opportunity.
Opportunity.
Good job. Give me a kiss. Oh, me kiss. Okay, good night.
This one.
Okay. So yeah. What was your name? What was your name? Kiana. Okay, Kiana. Woo. Woo. Right. Dang. Please let me know about this dog. Where did you get this dog from? And you gonna have you, that's a handful. That's a handful. Well, he can't go back. Do you have openings? uh, yeah, I do. I have one. I have one opening in September. But I encourage you to, some people will sign up and so I'd have to, the dog would have to stay with me for weeks, 4 months, and the dog is nervous. It's gonna need training, man. Mm-hmm. He's gonna need a board and training. Yep. It'll be a journey for you guys as well. Dealing with a nervous dog that's only gonna get bigger and only going to get more mature, and only what's D, and only going to get again more bold around 10 months. I hear it all the time. Dogs back up because they're nervous, and then all of a sudden when they get bigger, they stop backing up, make you back up. And so, dude, where'd you get this dog from? I don't think it's. I think it's really important to know. Obviously, when you buy a pup, and I'm definitely not. This is not, uh, um, ridiculing you at all. This is not criticizing you at all. But whenever you buy it, you got to be able to see the parents. You got to be able to even know information on grandparents, especially when dealing with dogs who can be temperament protective. Oh, you adopted a puppy. Okay, that's different. That's different, but you know, still, man, Rottweilers, boy, can be tough. They can be tough. They're very stubborn, and they're very in their own head type dogs, which made them good at what they once did, which what they were bred for. Oh, why don't you give me a call? Let's start there because I got a lot more questions for you. Why don't you give me a call sometime? I'll put my number in reply. Dog's going to get bigger, and you want to be prepared on how to deal with the dog. Making sure we can come on the right track. You know what I mean? Making sure we can come on the right track. You can keep asking questions though. Feel free. Hope I didn't discourage. Let's see. I got in the kennel right now. I've got a Newfoundland. I've got a Bergeron and a Shepherd. German Shepherd is human aggressive. The Bergeron is dog aggressive, and the Newfoundland is dog aggressive. And human aggressive dogs are tricky. This one in particular, this German Shepherd, is very defensive. It's a female. Females aren't usually as defensive as male. They are defensive. This female has a lot of fighting drive, and Miss Savannah, and it's going to take her good 3 or 4 days before she even wants to interact with me. wants to. You know, she was definitely just a scared dog. Deals with that, with her fear by saying, "Bite you if you come near me." So my whole job here is to obviously train the dog and help the owners, but at the same time, um, I need to evaluate if a dog is safe for society. I need to evaluate if a dog can actually handle um, the what the world will ultimately provide anyway. You know what I mean? Um, and that's what I'm doing here. You know, there's most dogs pass flying colors. So let's not jump to any conclusions. Most dogs pass with flying colors. They are submissive to certain things that they have to be sub to in order to be for society. Um, and and because you know dogs that dogs that aren't dogs that would rather choose to act how they want to act um despite I would say listening to someone who knows how to deal with aggression. That dog could possibly hurt a small child or and really be damaging to the owner's overall life. So um, it does happen, doesn't happen often, but um, most dogs that are that I talk to, a lot of people, their dog is aggressive out of nowhere, and it's like, oh no. But there's a lot of things that come with aggression. And once I ask those questions, then it becomes clear for people. So anyway, let's answer some questions. All right, how do you feel about giving the dog Prozac? And can you say the name of those CB treats you just listed? You know what? You know. Yeah. I don't believe in Prozac. I've never had a dog that came in with Prozac that by the time training was done that I said, all right, this dog needs this Prozac. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work because I'm sure on some level maybe it does, but I've really never seen a difference between a very anxious dog who doesn't come in on Prozac versus a dog, very anxious dog who does her Prozac, and I haven't seen a major difference in dealing with anything. They're still anxious as well, um, or they all respond to training the same way in the same level. So there's not a noticeable difference, and I try and give things about a month to evaluate. If I'm trying some new supplement, some new anything, I try and get a month. I don't see a difference then because there's just so much bull crap out there. There's much more crap than there is actually things work. You can't wean you can't determine what actually does work. So, but this here is it's just really good, and apparently it's good for dogs. So yeah, I've tasted it. It's really tasty myself. So there you go. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Anybody else have any other questions about anything? Remember that your questions will help. You said in Atlanta. They're in Atlanta. They're based out of a. What you at? Hey, Jeremy, separation anxiety. Our dog definitely experiences some challenges with this, but not any bad behavior. He either scavenges for food left out or bark constantly. But it's not every time when we leave. Okay, wait a minute. You said, "Hey, Jeremy, separation anxiety. Dog definitely experiences some challenges with this, but not any behaviors." Uh, okay. Well, so when it comes to separation anxiety, first and foremost, let's just go through some remedial things that may help um, the barking. All right, first, make sure he doesn't destroy furniture or anything too terrible, just lots of bark. All right, so first and foremost, sure the dog is exercise really well. Let's see if that works. That's always a good go-to. If the dog's exercise really well, sometimes that solves the problem. Okay, say if that doesn't solve the problem, then what you have to do is on some way get the dog to think that barking is not okay. You have to give the dog consequence. Do that in the form of a bark collar or a electronic collar. And when it barks, you can be outside, or a bark collar. You don't even have to be just leave. But dog has to know that bark will give him a consequence and it'll stop. So bark collar would help. Um, but also more importantly, this here's another tip. When you come home or when you leave, give him something to do. If your environment is an environment where he can relax on command, then you have to get that going for you. Uh, uh, your environment isn't his to just do what he wants or act how he wants. If you show him an area in your house where he needs to lay down, despite his wants, then he will learn to go there as a safe space to down, if that makes sense. So it could be as simple as teaching him to lay down on his bed despite his wants, though. Not when he's ready to, but when he wants something. So, for example, when you walk into the door, he wants you. When he wants affection, he comes up to you. When you're eating, maybe he wants food. Those are the time to send him to his, especially when I'm in the door. You have to create a calm environment for him, to help get him to default to calmness when you're gone. I give him treats when he that's not work. Sometimes I come home and he hasn't them. That's because he's stressed. The bed thing we do that definitely helps. So do it more then. I would say stick to that, but more. And then when you when you leave, put him on his bed. And then when you come, put him on his bed. You have to make it a big deal. You have to not a big deal that you're leaving, or give him something to do when you leave and when you arrive, because those are two stressful times that can trigger that anxiety. What you're doing is sort of um, uh, helping the dog, steering that anxiety in the right direction. Because unchecked anxiety will leave a dog to do crazy, like bark his head off time. So if you can guide his anxiety by telling him to go down, and once he figures out that this place is a place where I deal with my anxiety, then the dog will choose to go lay down. So again, make sure it's tired enough sometimes, again, being tired, he doesn't even have the energy to become anxious. But when you home, don't give him what he wants until he's laying down, and not just laying, but calmly, no, like really calm, laying down, not on his toes, staring at you, but you know, very very calm. Does that make sense? That'll do it. That'll do it. Have those rules. My dogs, when I come home, my dogs do not get up from their bed because they know it won't get them anywhere. And I put down my bags and I'm going to go. Then I will let them outside, give them some pets, but not until. Yeah. Anxiety kind of suppresses treats too tight, I would say. So it's why the dog's not not caring about treats. All right, those of you who are live on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, to ask as many questions you like. I am here for as long as I have questions. I'm here, and we're talking about same thing for when we want him to leave the house. With he gets excited to leave, and try and make him sit quiet before he's let out. Yeah, that's it. You know, you have a dog who's anxious. You're trying to show dog how to deal with that anxiousness, deal with that, deal with what triggers that anxiety. And the only way to do that is to get them to do something, but also add duration work with that. So when you are telling the dog to, and you can open that door, I would say sit then open the door, so the dog can see what it wants to go to, and then keep the dog in a sit until the dog is not whining or staring or saying on others outside. And then the goal would be to wait, and dog looks at you. But all those things can help the separation anxiety as well. Everything's kind of linked together. So I hope living in an apartment, barking would definitely be tough to deal with. You're very welcome. Thanks for your questions. Feel free to ask more. Yeah, guys, back to my point, my original point. I guess I will. Nope, house. That's good. Back to my original, the title, reliable commands. I really think, again, to be able to get a dog to listen to your word without any tools, the dog are going to have to deal with their highest level of refusal, their highest level. I don't want to do this. So you'll have dogs that will that you'll bathe, that you'll groom, whatever it is. That doesn't matter. Some dogs hate all kinds of crap that goes on. Let's just take ear cleaning, for example. Some dogs will throw a fit if you touch their ears. Some dogs will throw a fit. I've seen dogs throw fits for just putting a collar on, touching, or getting bathed. Again, obviously, our goal is to obviously be fair to the dog, but some dogs refuse to walk. Some dogs refuse to do something as simple as walking on leash. They will throw it for it. I've had many dogs do that. So if that fit gets them ultimately what they want, then they win, and they will do again. And then they figured out how to train you. If they decide to do something and quit before them, they're training you. But you have to recognize that on some level, you'll have to say, all right, you're going to do this because it's beneficial for you. And you will say, it's not what you think it is. We're going to push past your initial, oh God, don't want to do this. I teach dogs how to get into cars. Some dogs will not get into cars. Cars will not get out of cars. And I mean, can be years and years of people of not being able to get their dog out of a car. But once I show the dog that they are doing this, there's no choice, but you're going to come car, and you can slash, thrash, roll, or that's fine. But I'm still gonna be there, still asking you to do the same thing. Then they decide to deal with their fear, um, um, and and jump out or jump in or stay there. Um, though that's the sort of mindset you have to have, and that's nothing but what I call respect. Sure, you can be friendly with your dog. Means he's safe with you. He likes petting and he likes treats. It's all friendship. But that's not learning. That's not teaching. And that's not true dogmanship. When you have a dog, you're the parent, and you are responsible for helping the dog deal with what the world may bring. All right, tips for muzzle training. Oh, same thing. I'm going to be talking. That's a good, I guess, way. Tips for muzzle training. Well, when I trained up my dogs to muzzle, they just put it on. I suppose if they refuse to do it, then you've got to deal with their reliable way. You can coax them though. And that's what a lot of trainers they'll coax them in getting muzzle comfortable with them, and I'm okay with that. Um, so obviously you got to work with a big muzzle, a muzzle where the dog can actually open its mouth, receive treats. So you have the muzzle. Okay, like here's the muzzle, and here's the dog's face. You can put a treat right through the muzzle, get the dog to kind of go like this, and then do it again, do it again, and keep the muzzle on longer and longer. You know what I mean? And then eventually getting the dog to it's called just conditioning, but getting the dog to really like having the muzzle on its nose, getting the dog comfortable with it, and then you eventually tie it up. And you eventually want to work, add like a verbal command to like muzzle or muzzle on or on, and then wean off the treats. You know what I'm saying? Um, because again, eventually a dog who's going to put the muzzle on every single time is a dog who's going to say, I don't want to put the muzzle on. I don't want to put the muzzle on. And you continue to say, yeah, you're going to put the muzzle on you too. The most, again, reliable way is the dog learn that the muzzle's not to hurt him. So it's something that you sort of can, push the dog to realize. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of this, of my post earlier. Like swimming. A lot of dogs can like swimming if they're actually strategically shown how to swim. All right. Best way to build confidence in a shy, fearful pup. Fairly good with dogs, not thrilled with humans. 8-month-old have been trying hard, but it seems to be difficult in a COVID environment. Was very, very hopeful. For therapy dog work, that's never going to happen if he doesn't want to be touched by strangers. So I'd say stop forcing him to be touched by strangers, and stop touching the dog in general. You guys touching the dog. Try that. The COVID environment is a great environment for a dog who doesn't want to be touched, because they're not going to be touched. And he can maybe learn how to want to be touched instead of forced to be touched. So the COVID environment is good because you can experience people at a distance. But again, also keep in mind that his amount of love that he gets from you guys, that cup full. And so if you want him to be open up to others, cut back on your own affection of him. Let him see that he can also experience that affection from strangers. But strangers also have to be, when you have a German Shepherd, you have to be you have to realize that those dogs aren't necessarily the most social, because they're protective, they're nervous, and they're intelligent. And so you really kind of have to set up a situation where you let the dog go to the human, as opposed to when coming to the dog, paying attention to the dog. Everyone wants to pay attention to the dog. What I would do personally, if that was my dogs, is throw a orange vest, or a therapy dog vest, or a training vest, a vest that says training dog, or therapy dog, or something like that, so the people can sort of say, "Can I pet your dog?" And then you can say no if the dog is not ready for it. But the people will maybe respect the fact that you can't touch your dog. But that's what the dog needs. The dog needs a break from having to be touched, and you need to give the dog a break from having touched. They don't want to be touched. It's not about getting along with humans. Not about the dog being touched by a million humans. It's about showing the dog that humans can actually respect the dog's wishes not to be touched. Because when you therapy work, they need to see that the dog wants to engage in humans, but also can be under control of the handler. But if you are allowing us to come up to him while he's not ready, he's going to be out of control when he goes up. It's about 10 months since he's going to say, "Roof," instead of be backing away. You can over socialize your dog. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just talking about in general. People can over socialize the dog. And when you have a dog who is backing up, who doesn't look like they want to be touched by strangers, give them a break. Let you around strangers. But also the other side is, now that you're having to work being backwards, you're having to work of a whole. You have to control the dog as well. There's two sides to it. It's control of the dog, and on the other level, control of the environment. And you can obviously control the dog better than control the environment, but you need some basic steps in order for the dog to say, "I want to go engage with that human." So those things are important. Let's just reiterate. First and foremost, give dog a break from the pressure of being touched by anyone who approaches, because that dog's just going to grow up to say, "Roof, get the hell away from me," because I know what's going to happen, and I'm uncomfortable with it. They want me, and they want to touch me. There's like a celebrity at that. It's almost like the psychology of a celebrity. I can't go out in public because I know people are going to want to take pictures with me, want to have me sign autograph. I don't want to deal with it. So give them a break. That's the first thing. Try to control the environment. Let him see that people respect his space. Let him also see you can be there to advocate for that respect. Um, those two things will have to happen in order for the dog to say, "All right, right, maybe maybe I should." Oh, lastly, last thing is check how much affection and or how good she has it at your house. That'll determine how humble she will be outside the house. You humble dog and not pretentious dog. Fear and pretentiousness go hand in hand. You know, if they have it all good at home, I can do what I want at home. Then I act like a fool in public. I hope that makes sense. I am going to call tomorrow, but for a timid pup, should I continue to introduce new people? One of the videos still said too much attention at home creates lack of interest in strangers, which makes sense. I've been doing a lot of activities with him besides bad vet to answer his question. I want to say thank you, sir. Your advice made things flow smoothly at home. No more bad guarding by the youngest. Wonderful. Very glad to hear it. Very glad to hear it. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here because empty. I appreciate you guys asking your questions. It will help people. Please feel free to come back next week and ask even more questions. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you are staying safe in the crazy times. And that's it. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye, Instagram. Bye, YouTube.